And welcome back to another episode of Richmond Real Talk, where you can find real teens having real talk about real stuff. This is your host, DJ Silver, currently recording here at the Shoreline Teen Center. And today I am joined with my very own co-worker, Arf.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Arf? And then we have two new young bloods on the podcast that have never been on before. Why don't you both go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what school you go to and your age.
I'm Jacob, and I go to Shorewood High School, 14 years old, 9th grade.
I'm also 14 years old, going into Shorewood High School as a freshman, and I'm Jesse.
Y'all are going into high school?
Yep.
I thought you were going into 8th grade.
No.
Nope.
We're both going into 9th.
I swear they get younger and younger as they go into high school. This is crazy.
14 though.
14?
Yeah.
And you're about to go into. Are you excited for high school?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I am.
You think you're gonna like it better than middle school?
Definitely.
Did y'all like
Probably.
middle school?
No.
What middle school did y'all go to before?
Einstein.
Went
Yep.
to Einstein. Both of y'all went to Einstein. You didn't
Yeah.
like it a whole lot.
It's okay.
It's a really weird school. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
I mean, I wouldn't know because I've never been to another one.
You ever been to a middle school?
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing though. That's a good thing.
Okay.
It's stressful when you gotta switch middle schools. I did it a lot.
All right.
Making friends all over again.
I had a friend from another high school, or middle school, so I kind of know how it is.
You had a friend from another middle school?
Yeah.
What middle school?
Shorecrest. No, not
Shorecrest.
Shorecrest.
Kellogg?
Kellogg, yeah.
Kellogg was fun. I had a lot more fun at Kellogg than Einstein.
Yeah, Kellogg was fun.
Kellogg was actually pretty. Oh yeah, you were in my grade, huh? Yeah, Kellogg was fun, especially 8th grade year.
Yeah.
That was a really fun year. All right, let's go ahead and dive into it. So typically, how it works is we do the quote of the day, the topic of the day, and then the teen's choice. But I kind of wanted to make this a specialized hybrid episode because Jesse, I know you've been waiting a long time to talk about the topic of ghosts. So I'm gonna do a special podcast today where the only thing we're going to talk about is ghosts and everything related to it. We're going to talk experiences, we're going to talk whether it's real, and we're just going to dive directly into it. So, before we start off getting into the conversation of ghosts, I want to ask first, is there anybody who is religious within this room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody. Okay. And what religions are practiced in this room?
Christianity.
Christianity.
Islam.
Okay, so Islam, Christianity. Okay, now has in your practice of your religion, what has it ever stated anything about any type of paranormal, supernatural forces or any kind of ghostly figures and trying to make sense of it?
Definitely.
Yes.
Mainly in like dreams and things
Yeah.
that are accounted, but like
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
What does it say about them?
There's a lot. It's complicated.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, it's
We
pretty
got all the
complicated.
time to talk about complicated.
Well, first of all, most important one is the Holy Ghost, which is you can interpret it in a lot of different ways, because a lot of different parts in the Bible describe it differently. So, I don't know where to get started with this.
It's okay. Think
it
about
is
it.
something that saves you, I guess.
So are we talking about ghosts like in a negative way or a positive way? Are we talking about
Either
ghosts?
way.
Positive.
Either way? Okay.
Either way.
So are you guys talking about like ghosts of like people, like people's spirits after they die, they come back to haunt you? Do you
No.
believe in that?
Not the haunting part, mainly just
But they come back.
yeah,
Yeah.
Visit you.
yeah. There you
Okay.
go.
But they come back. Okay.
Not to haunt you, but
Like just to visit you, I guess.
See, because when I heard a Holy Ghost, usually it's tied in with Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah.
His
Isn't that the
his,
Father,
his
the-
resurrection.
Father,
It's
the
a
Son, the
positive
Holy
thing.
Spirit.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit is
That's
the
the
Holy Ghost.
Trinity, right? Trinity.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah.
Hold on.
Oh.
I know it's kind of tough. Okay, that makes sense. Now, Arf, in your practice of religion, what does it say about ghosts or supernatural entities?
So we don't believe in the concept of people dying and then their spirits coming back. That's not like a really prevalent concept, but since we do believe in God, we believe in the devil, and the devil also has his army or his servants or is demons, demonic forces. So it's pretty deep. So what it is there's a whole, we actually do believe in another race that we actually coexist with, we live with. It's called the jinn. So just like humans, they have their own social statuses. They have communities. They have cities, stuff like that too. But it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like in a different dimension, kind of so to speak of. And there's good ones that who are good, practicing, who follow whatever they have their Christian. They actually believe in Christianity as well, Judaism, Islam. There's those faiths, but there are also bad ones, and they're actually called the shayateen or shaitan, which shaitan is devil in Arabic. So the shayateen, they work with the devil to cause just chaos, just do evil deeds, evil things, separate families from each other, cause harm to people, and in some extreme cases possess people. That's what I believe in that sense.
Okay, so then if anything was to be interpreted as like a ghost or some supernatural figure, it'd most likely be that jinn.
Jinn, exactly.
Okay. That's an interesting concept. I remember I was talking to our other coworker Azim about that, and he was explaining it to me because I never heard of the jinn before until he was talking about it. So then, my question is: has anybody in this room ever had any experience that they thought to be supernatural, or of any type of ghostly figure stalking them, or creating anything, or doing anything to them?
Not personally, but my mom and my sister have both had experiences.
What were their experience? What happened?
Well, my mom randomly started smelling smoke in our house. That's the only thing that she has told me about. And my sister saw a...
Wait, hold on. Back to the smoke thing.
Yeah?
Did she, investigate, a source for it and couldn't find anything?
Yes.
Okay, that's... Okay.
She looked all around the house and couldn't find a single thing. And my sister saw a completely black...
shadow figure?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's prevalent.
Standing, and it was, really tall with a top hat on, standing there.
Really tall with a top hat?
Yeah.
In the day or,
At night.
At night, okay.
So...
Huh.
She had just woken
freaky.
up in the middle of the night, and she saw this man standing there.
Uh-huh.
So.
How old was your sister when this happened?
She was 17.
17?
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't even like a kid that was seeing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty freaky.
Last year or so.
That'd be freaky. How about you? Have you experienced anything?
No, but I have a lot of people who I know who are close to me who've said they have.
Mm-hmm.
First off is my friend Diego. So he has a lot of experiences because he's pretty sure his house is haunted. So there's I don't know if you call this an urban legend or something, but 3 a.m. is supposed to be the witching hour, where spirits come out and things like that.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he'd wake up consistently every night at 3 a.m. with just that, with chills, like someone was watching him, until finally he woke up one night, and he just yelled, get out of my house, or something like that. And then it didn't happen again.
Really?
Which I found really interesting.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of... I've talked to a lot of people about some of their experiences, and it's interesting because for some people you could kind of tell whether they're just hyping stuff up or it's kind of just in their head, or if they seem way too excited to talk about it, and if they seem excited to talk about it and they talk a lot about it, that was a clear indicator to me that it was kind of alright, I don't think you're actually experiencing what you're claiming to experience, because a lot of the people I met that actually have gone through experiences that they felt were legitimate don't like to talk about it.
It's traumatic.
They'll do the opposite. They'll just not say a whole lot about the situation or experience at all, because it is traumatic and you can't really understand it. I remember this one girl that I was kind of seeing at the time had a sister who she claimed had the sixth sense, and I only met this sister once, but it was weird because you could feel the energy and the vibe that she was giving off. And that's the thing about us human beings, is that we could pick up on vibes, on vibrations and energies, without even really trying to admit it or to attract it. You could just feel it.
Yeah.
And it was crazy kind of feeling it with her. I remember through my own personal experiences, a lot of the things I went through had to do with energy. So it wasn't exactly like I verbatim saw something, literally. Yeah. It wasn't that I like, well, I felt something.
You felt cold.
But it wasn't so concrete.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like I literally saw a shape and the shape did this or this. It's all the energy that you feel.
You feel heavy.
Yeah, so
sick.
you feel you feel it in the pit of your stomach. And then
that there's something there.
There's a lot of alarms that's going off, like instincts that are going off in your body, in your brain, and everything from head to toe that's kind of giving off an alert, almost like spider sense. It's weird. And when you start feeling that energy and you start feeling whether it's negative or positive, that's when it starts to that's when it really starts to get weird. But the only reason why I bring this up is because there's an urban myth going around, and by urban myths, it may be true that we have a very own presence or ghost here at the rec center, or the Shoreline Teen Center, I should say.
Really?
You know what we should do? Hold on. You know how like those ghost hunters?
Uh-huh.
You know how they're like, all right, spirit, if you want to talk, so when you contact, make a noise or something, and just be dead quiet.
Actually, we could probably do that right now because we're recording, right? And
Exactly.
you usually pick up the recording.
Exactly. This thing's like hypersensitive; they can pick up anything.
All right, so then let's
like
do an experiment right here.
You should call the spirit out and be like, yo.
Let's go ahead and call the spirit out, and let's stay silent for a couple. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. We're gonna stay silent, see if we can pick up on anything. This might be the time to show proof that the wreck ghost actually exists, because this is something that's been going on for a very, very long time.
It's like watch like here, just bang, just on the wall somewhere.
So let's go.
I'll quit the thing and just leave, and you know I'm good.
I'd stay in here and record it.
For real?
We have to know.
We gotta get
really?
we gotta get here.
I already believe, man.
We have to get the truth
I don't need to
on
know,
whether
man.
something happened here or not. All right, let's go ahead and do it. So, Red Ghost, if you're here with us right now, please give us some sort of a signal. Anything. See, what's crazy is I've had the headphones, so I can actually pick up stuff that y'all won't be able to hear.
I know, that's what I was gonna say.
So far, I'm not hearing anything right now. If you are with us right now, please bang on the wall. If you are with us right now, please bang on the table. That was me.
I was about to say. Actually, no, that reminds me of actually something real quick.
Alright.
My uncle was home alone in this house, and he was just sitting down on the couch, and across in the living room across from him was the TV. He was watching TV, and obviously the attic's up there, right? So he heard a bang on top, like where the TV was, like right above it in the attic, and then he heard another bang coming closer, another bang coming closer, another bang until the noise stopped right above he was, and he was home alone, and no one's in the attic. No one goes in the attic, obviously. It's a little crawl space. You have to climb up. You have to get a ladder to get up there. And so he just literally heard bangs all the way until it came to him, from the TV to him. And he said he just got up and left the house.
Oh, I would have done the same.
Yeah, like, and I mean I had personal experiences in this house. I mean, I definitely believe like spiritual.
Gotta get the ghost hunters there.
I know, but obviously, like I said, like in Islam, we do believe in jinns and stuff, and the bad ones do mess with you.
See, those ghost shows though, I can't stand.
Oh yeah,
they're fake.
Like those ghost hunter shows and taps
that's
and
just money
all
grab.
that. I can't stand.
Honestly,
those ghost
I
shows.
equate that to like the super conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
You know, like Alex Jones, everything's rigged and everything's like.
Well, it's funny because like my mom's boyfriend when I was in high school went through this phase where all he did was watch those type of ghost hunting shows.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is.
And I asked
creepy.
him all the time. I'm like, bro, why are you watching this? Like, it's so stupid.
Like they never caught anything.
Yeah, they never do. Because if they caught anything, if they literally caught anything legitimate, then that would go viral. Not only would it go viral, it would go the news. I mean, it would be something groundbreaking. Yeah. Think about that. If you're able to find a breakaway where you could talk to somebody
from another dimension,
pretty much another dimension, That is huge for the scientific community. Something like that would be groundbreaking.
That's
or to say, hey, we can communicate with people that have passed on.
Yeah.
That would shake the whole core of this of our scientific foundation.
That's what I'm saying, because you're not gonna catch anything, because this has nothing to do with our physical world. This has to do with the spiritual world or another dimension. So how can you catch something in a different dimension? Like you said, we're like, as human beings, we have like a sixth sense. We can feel stuff like.
But we can't
vibes.
explain how we feel.
Exactly, we can't really explain
because
it.
It's from another.
Exactly.
It's beyond our own.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well, that's what's
knowledge.
If you look into science, we live in the 4-dimensional plane, so we can move forwards and backwards. We can move side to side. We can move up and down. And then the 4th dimension is time. They actually, before they would say that we lived in a 3rd dimensional plane, but they just considered time to be a dimension. So now they say we actually live in a 4th dimensional plane. So if I try to ask you, like, what does a 6th or 7th dimensional plane look like? There's no way you can comprehend it. Your brain can't even think of what that'd be like. Because think about it. You're talking about a plane of existence where time isn't really a factor. Can you think about a plane of existence where time doesn't exist? You can't. It's impossible, right? So you're talking about trying to communicate with these forces that are not bound by the dimensions we live in.
Yeah.
And to fathom that, our brains can't comprehend that. We just can't, because we're bound by this existence. But with that being said, there are vibrations and things that you could pick up on. And I believe that wholeheartedly. A lot of the experience I've personally had, like I said, has been through finding feelings, certain things I'd get. I'm a person that trusts my gut instinct really, really strong. So when I'm feeling good about something or feeling wrong about something, like something doesn't feel right, I listen to myself, because it's gotten me out of a lot of situations.
Usually you're right,
yeah. So yeah, like, right. I trust my instincts more than a lot of people do. Like my instincts have really kicked in for me and have shown me that, okay, when I'm feeling certain things, they tend to be true. So when it came to that, it's definitely something that's really prevalent and strong. And there's also people that try to practice it too. I've talked to a lot of people, like witchcraft. When they're trying to tap into that black magic stuff. Yeah. That stuff actually is really plausible to me. I feel like it's more plausible to find energy coming from someone trying to practice it than I do actually seeing a real life ghost.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like I think Christianity as well. I think Christianity believe in black magic, right? I'm not. I can't speak because I'm not.
Well, no, they do, because if you think about worshiping the devil, you're trying to tap into that black magic.
So like in Islam, it's the same thing. There is such thing as black magic that can affect you. It can make you sick. You can be getting hurt a lot and stuff like that.
Well, think about the type of energy you're attracting to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really negative energy. I met some people that talked about some encounters they had with people that practiced the stuff. Oh, and it was really, really eerie. Jesse and Jacob, I don't want to scare y'all in here, because y'all are gonna have to walk home tonight. I'm ready.
Fine.
You're gonna have trouble sleeping at night.
No, I have some crazy.
Yeah, there was this one. Mexico is really, really a hot spot for that witchcraft. Yeah. California too. I didn't know it at the time, but I remember I went through a phase where I was kind of interested, because I was let me research a little bit. So I started doing some research. That's a black hole you don't want to go down. Because you start finding out some stuff that starts spooking you, and then you're like, maybe I shouldn't have done this.
Advice to you guys, if you stay away from that, man.
Don't go down any of that. But this dude, when I was doing it, they said that California was a big hotspot for witchcraft, and they said because of Mexico. Because Mexico was a big hotspot for witchcraft.
Same thing in Pakistan and India.
Yeah. Voodoo, I've heard some crazy stuff in India.
That's the number one thing. And there's some crazy stories. My family from back home will be telling us.
I knew this woman who said that, what was it, her daughter or her niece? But it was a daughter or niece, but there was a little girl she was related to. And in Mexico, right, you have the town. There's this one trail that went into the woods a little bit, that they always said, don't go into that trail and don't go up there, because there's someone up there that you could run into that you don't want to see. And you know how kids are, you kind of define. You
rebel against that.
You tell them what they shouldn't do.
Exactly.
It makes them want to do it more.
Exactly. Yeah. So they kept telling this little girl, don't do it. Well, one day, and she would always kind of like get a little closer, go up a little bit more, go up a little bit more. So then one day she said, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go all the way in there. So she goes all the way in there, and this woman told me, she was telling me what her niece told her, because her niece came back, like ran back crying and screaming. And she asked the niece, like, you know, what's wrong, what's going on. And what the niece told her is that she went all the way up and then went into like the kind of woods area, even though there's not a whole lot of big woods in Mexico because it's a pretty dry country. But she went up into the hills, and as she was going up, she was kind of, there's this stream, and she was kind of playing along the stream, and she looked up and she saw a woman there that was standing on a rock, and it was uphill, so she was kind of hovering over her. But the woman didn't exactly look like a woman. She said that she couldn't see her eyes, even though it was broad daylight, mind you. It's not like nighttime or anything. It's broad daylight. She couldn't see her eyes. It was almost like her eyes were dark or sunken in. And then she said that she was dressed in all feathers, almost like she killed a bunch of crows or something and put feathers all over her. And she said that the girl was looking at her, and she was like, "¿Qué te hace, mía?" Pretty much, what are you doing, little girl? And the girl stopped and was shook, and she didn't want to move. And then the woman said, I think she said, she held out her hand and was like, "Come here, Mia." And then the girl just stood there and was like, "I'm not going near you, like I'm standing right there." And she was like, she like waved out again, stuck out her hand. She's like, "Come here," and she wouldn't go. And then the woman got mad, and she said she leapt off the rock, almost like she was stepping off the rock to come walk to her. But when she stepped off, it wasn't like she fell to the ground. She stepped off and floated down. And she said as soon as she saw her kind of float down, that's when the niece took off running. She turned around and darted off and just was like crying back. And they said not to go in there. They still never like found out the story behind that or what was going on. But pretty much that's why they kept saying don't go up there, like stay down here.
Of those forces that other people have.
But what's crazy about that is there's a lot of stories like that are universal.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world, you'll hear and find stories about that.
So like I said like 95% of the time, it is probably games. But if you find a pattern, like if you find stories from around the entire world that are not connected but still similar, there's some truth to it. There has to be a truth to it. Not everybody can have the same story, but not have, like, you can't just like ask a person from Mexico, ask a person from India, ask a person from here, who have no idea who each other are, never seen each other, but all have similar experiences.
Yeah, what's crazy is like you talk to Native Americans that lived here on this land, they have similar stories, and as you would find somebody in like all the way across the world in like China, because China, they have the same similar witch stories and some people that practice that dark magic.
Well, so what do you guys think? You guys have any experiences?
Well, the one time that I think something happened, but I've no real evidence of this.
But going off of you.
Alright, going off of
your experience, your feeling, what you analyzed and what you felt.
So I was in my room, and I was ready to go skating, because I like to rollerblade on the street. So I get ready, and I'm just like going past downstairs, because the door is open, and it's like dark down there, and I know I'm home alone. So I just hear, "Hey."
That room is scary.
And that's all I hear, and someone says, "Hey."
So, yo, what up?
And it was definitely not, it could have been my imagination, because it was pretty quiet.
Oh, it was like a...
Were
lights on or anything, or was it just all dark?
Just dark.
Do you have any siblings or friends that would play joke on you?
No, it did not sound like anyone's voice that I knew.
Okay, that's pretty creepy.
How long were you, like, in dim lighting or the darkness?
I know it was light upstairs, it was dark downstairs.
Oh, alright.
So you were upstairs, but you heard it from downstairs. Okay.
See, that's what makes it even more kind of crazy is when it happens
it's
in broad daylight.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't believe yourself. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What happened?
Because when you go into like darkness or when you're in pitch black or something, your mind is already kind of getting set up for that.
Yeah.
But when you're in broad daylight, like how we are now, and we're just chilling, and then something happens, that's when it really hits you. Like, whoa.
What are you gonna say?
Was it like
okay, but here's the thing.
Or was it?
It was in the evening, and the fact that I was home alone, I don't know. That probably changes.
Yeah, most
something.
things.
Were you scared when you're home? Like, was that the first time you've been home alone? Were you used to being home alone?
Yeah, I was used to being home alone, but I just don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just today when I was getting ready to shower, Like,
Oh, yeah.
You're home alone. You definitely.
I hate taking showers home alone.
Yeah,
Yup.
I feel that.
I open the door and I'm like,
making
really
sure no one's
slowly.
behind you.
Yeah.
Always checking behind the curtains.
Yeah.
And the worst part is,
I feel that.
my
Man.
back door, the
Upstairs or
regular
downstairs one?
upstairs back door.
Oh.
It's really how do I explain this? Like the regular handle does not work too well. It was kind of open on its own.
Oh.
So it was just open when I came out of the shower, and I was like, oh my god.
Ooh,
No,
because,
no.
and when it's a faulty thing, you don't know whether it was
Yeah.
So let me
just
ask
the
you
door
this.
or whatever.
Let me ask you this. You're gonna go into high school, right? You're probably gonna
What does this have to do with
Hold-
ghosts?
Just hold on. You'll see where I'm going with this. So you're going into high school, right? You're freshman. It's your first time being in high school. You're like, oh, cool. You know, some of the upperclassmen, say some juniors or some seniors, come up to y'all. They're like, hey, we like y'all. Y'all are kind of cool. Y'all want to come kick it with us? You're like, all right, yeah, sure. And then, so they come and pick you up. You know, it's probably a weekend. It's nighttime. And they say, hey, guess where we're going to go? We're going to go hang out in this abandoned spot. Don't worry, it's completely abandoned. No cops, no one's going to show up. However,
Initiation.
we've heard that it's
Oh, no.
it's been haunted or some bad stuff has gone
I'd
through
probably
there.
go.
Yo,
I'd
be
get
down.
into that.
Tell me why I'm not surprised that y'all would be down.
I just think that would be fun, the exhilaration of it,
You better
and
take
just
your
like,
Bible with you.
Of going
Yeah.
to a haunted place.
yeah, I just think I like
I'm
haunted, like
excited.
abandoned places, it's, like scary.
But only if you're with people, though.
yeah,
I never
I
go
would
on my
never
own.
do that on my own.
Honestly, I wouldn't go with people. Even
I
with people.
just
You would
wouldn't.
you
I
would
just
stay
wouldn't go.
home, you'd
I'm
be like,
good, man. Like I'm not one of those people in those movies who are like, oh, I heard a noise, let's go investigate it.
No, I
would
would
not
hear
do
a
that.
noise, I would
I'm
just
like,
be
all
gone.
right, I'm
I'd
gone.
be-
Like if I hear something
Down
creepy
the
that doesn't make
street.
sense, I'm leaving.
You know what?
I don't mess with those places,
You
man.
know
I don't
what's-
do that.
I was working at my other job, and this woman comes in, and I'm like helping her fix her bill and like giving her an upgrade and stuff, and then she's talking to me about all these subliminal messages about Illuminati and all this stuff, and I'm thinking like, all right, yeah, you're one of those, okay.
Yeah.
And she's an older woman too. She's like in her 40s, 50s. So I'm thinking, it's
That's
kind of
old to
it's
you?
kind of weird that you're. I said older.
Okay, older.
I was like, it's kind of weird that a woman of that age is like buying into some stuff like this, you know?
Yeah.
Because for me, I don't really buy into all that.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, all right, you know. And then I'm talking to her a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's crazy. Really, I was just trying to sell her. She hands me a card and writes some stuff down
Oh man.
and gives me the card and says, hey, look this stuff up. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I took that card, I looked at it, I said, I will not look stuff up, but I'll act like I'm going to, so I'm going to slip it in my pocket. So later on, I go to my friend's house. And I'm chilling with him, and I'm telling him about this. I was like, oh yeah, there's this woman that came in, and like she was talking to me about all this crazy stuff. Everything. He's like, oh, for real? Wow, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, you know, she actually left me this card. He's like, what, for real? Man, that's crazy. I was like, yeah, actually, I think I got it in my pocket. And I went to my pocket to pull it out. And the first thing he did was, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I was like, bro, I'm going to show you the card where she had stuff written down. He's like, nah, don't pull that out. Don't pull that. I'm like, bro, it's just a card. Like, it's one of our business cards that she just wrote some stuff down. He's like, nah, man, I ain't got time, man. We living too rough right now. I ain't got time to deal with spirits and stuff right now. But it's crazy because it's almost like you'd rather be more safe than sorry.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
So it's like, do I believe in it? I don't know, but do I really want to mess with it?
No.
No.
Which is why I advise you, I don't care how cool the kids are, do not ever go to somewhere that has a bad history or is known to have some activity going on in there.
So, but if you are afraid, that means you do believe in it deep down.
Oh, that's true.
If you actually didn't believe it, you wouldn't care.
You would like be like, okay,
Exactly.
look it up or whatever.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
but,
huh,
I
this
feel
is stupid.
Exactly. But I feel like people.
I feel like if you do that, eventually you're gonna find something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
you
if
keep
you look
looking
deep
hard
enough.
enough, you
They'll
might
come to you. Yeah.
you might mess around and track something that you didn't.
Okay.
didn't want to
This is
track.
actually a good topic. Let's transition to a different topic: conspiracy theories. Like,
Oh, I mean,
You guys
Oh,
heard of the
okay,
Simpsons?
okay, that's
how they
The Simpsons
how they
predicting,
predict
like,
okay. That's what I'm trying to say.
Everything.
No, let me get this.
Hey, be
Simpsons.
careful with the table.
Get this. The Simpsons, like, this is more than a coincidence. They literally
It
foretold and
happens
prophesized
so
like
often.
10 different events that came true, like that, like the Trump thing. You know how he's like walking
Yeah.
down the escalator waving. That happened in real life. The episode aired like 15 years ago, and there's a bunch of other things too. Like I don't get that. Like I know I'm like I don't want to say I'm a conspiracy theorist. Like I believe in 100%,
But
I do believe in patterns. And when something keeps happening over and over again, like I don't get that. Like, do you know more of the episodes? Like,
they did. One of them was predicting 9/11.
all right.
It showed a magazine or a newspaper or something,
and
it had 9 cents on it, and it had
the
two towers, and it spelt 9/11 with the 9 cents and the 2 towers.
And it had like a plane going through.
And another one was, one of the people was reading a kid's book. It was a Curious George book, and it said Curious George and the Ebola virus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was way before they actually. What?
Why
I don't know.
Why would George be messing around with Ebola?
I don't know, because it's the Ebola. It was just them predicting it.
There's a bunch of other ones too. I was watching
Yeah, I remember seeing like 1 or 2 videos about it, and it was pretty crazy. The only thing I would say,
like, how do you deny it?
The only thing I'd say, like, is did they? I don't know. It's hard. Because it's really hard to deny. The only room I could say to kind of refute it would be like, well, these episodes aired way well before the time and already planted the idea there. So then people just bit off onto the idea, and that's why it came to fruition. Like Donald Trump probably saw an episode of The Simpsons, thought, oh, that's kind of funny. And then a year or two later thought, you know what? That would be kind of crazy if I did it, huh? Maybe I should
But,
just
like,
do
how
it.
do you...
But he has the same hair.
It's a stretch.
First of all,
it's
like,
a stretch.
For one, I remember 2-3 years ago when Trump started running, everybody's like, okay, there's no way he's winning. It was a joke. Okay, and he actually does become president. But then he's going down an escalator in a mall waving to his supporters, which he did exactly. Like, how do you... Like, that's too much.
It is crazy to see, because I remember watching a lot of those videos and being like, wow, this is actually pretty on point for being coincidence. There's no way really to explain it. But you got to be careful with those conspiracy theories.
You do, definitely, yeah.
Because what a trend happens is that...
It's fun.
And I've gone through this with some of my own personal friends. Where it's like, once you see a conspiracy theory to be true, or you see where it can be true, then you start thinking every conspiracy theory is true. And to be honest, the majority of conspiracy theories are not true at all. Like, one of my friends, like, I had 2 friends back home that tried to convince me that the earth was flat.
Okay, yeah, that's ridiculous. Like,
and they legitimately believed it. And I was listening to their reasoning, and I'm like, y'all my friends, like, I got love for y'all, but you know how uneducated you sound right now? Like, you've never tried to study this. You never went to college to try to really, like, educate yourself or nothing. You just saw a couple videos that seemed cool, and now all of a sudden you believe it to be the truth.
Just go fly on a plane, and, like, you can tell, like, the earth...
Yeah, it's
like, planes cannot fly. The reason why we have planes and how they fly with radar and everything, and how we, like, go through time zones, is because the earth is a globe. Yeah. Like, if it was flat, everything, like, laws of how we fly and how the planes fly.
One of the things I asked them too was, I was like, okay, so say the earth is flat. What kind of benefit would people have lying to us about the earth? Like, what do they have to gain about lying to us about something like that?
The only thing I've seen that people would have to gain is a more scientific approach, making you feel more like irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Because the thing that makes people buy into flat earth I've seen most is it being, like, the only planet, or, like, not the only planet, like, the only place where humans exist, and it all kind of being, like, connected, rather than just, like, a bunch of rocks floating around in space. Yeah. So their theory is that the government would tell them that, so that they think they're irrelevant, so they'd, like, I'm not sure how this would work, maybe it's a little subliminal, that people would, like, I don't know, spend their money more, or things like that.
Subconscious, I guess, I mean... yeah, that one's kind of... Like, I don't know if you guys know the movie Snowden. You know Snowden?
No.
Yeah.
That's a really good... Have you seen the movie?
I haven't seen it. I know.
Yeah, I recommend this movie. I highly recommend. Like, this is something... Well, this is not a conspiracy case. This is legit. It's real. The government is tapping into your phones and listening to your stuff. But this guy, he's a whistleblower, and he's the one who came up with all these codes to, like, hack into people's phones and stuff. And so, like, he literally in the movie, he talks... He has an interview, too. And the government literally just, even if your laptop or your phone's off, they can just turn on your camera and just literally spy on you through your camera, like even though it's off. Like this happens, already happened, it's been proven.
Oh, it's been happening for a while.
Exactly. So like stuff like that, like I believe in that
yeah.
stuff. But like Snowden kind of shed more light on it. Like if you watch the movie, it's a really good movie. I can recommend.
Well, like government conspiracy theories, some governmental conspiracy theories are pretty like
Accurate.
That's what I'm trying to say.
They
like,
are easy to believe when you start branching out a little bit more, or just some of the stuff like how one conspiracy theory is how we don't have nuclear weapons. It's all just a facade. Like we faked the bombing on Hiroshima and
there's
Nagasaki.
video evidence of that.
Yeah, but they said that the video evidence is like not conclusive.
Alright, you just go to Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
It's like there's some that are just kind of like
no, it's too far fetched. Yeah,
where I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay,
you gotta balance it.
Yeah,
but like the thing is, like 20 years ago, people thought you were crazy if you told them, "Oh, the government's tapping into your phones and stuff."
Yeah.
No one believed you. 20 years later, now you have a guy like Snowden who worked for the CIA and FBI and NSA. He came out and he was a top dog in there. He's the one who's like creating all these programs and doing everything. And like they kind of reverse engineered his programs and started using it to spy on Americans and doing unlawful stuff. So that's why he exposed the government.
Well,
so
I think it's kind of a shame, and let's go ahead and start wrapping up our closing thoughts here, because we're approaching the 45-minute mark. I think it's kind of a shame how I feel like our priorities are so mixed up in things that we should focus on. And that kind of goes with conspiracy theory. Like for example, we've already proven that there is extraterrestrial alien life, but it's in the form of bacteria.
Yeah.
So there's no actual humanoids or
as far as we know,
beings that we've seen.
Yeah, universe is.
It's just in the form of microorganisms and cells. Which is huge, because if you have microorganisms, bacterias, and cells, that means that could eventually evolve into something that would be like us.
And like there could be something out there, like humanoid. They can be like animals grazing on some plane.
But yet something like that is not as tangible when it's already been proven in real life. It doesn't get as much praise as something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, as like, for example, hey, you want to talk about alien life? You know the reptilian alien race? There's reptilians among us, and because it sounds more fun. It sounds, like, so some of the, I feel like and that kind of goes
it's
into
a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it kind of goes into the ghost thing too, and the supernatural thing too.
Oh yeah.
Where you could get caught up in the web so easily, and kind of psych yourself out and psych your brain out, and then you start thinking that.
Maybe something like that is happening to you.
Yeah, it's hard to clarify what's going to actually be legitimate and tangible and what's mostly just you psyching yourself
Just take
out.
I always say take it as a grain of salt until there's conclusive evidence.
Or a pattern.
Yeah, or like a pattern. Well, pattern is evidence.
Alright.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, please, you two, don't go to any haunted places.
Just don't go in your sketchy, man. Just stay away from sketchy.
I've already been to haunted places.
Just don't do it.
Your own house.
Don't do it. Don't mess with no witchcraft.
So, what's your guys' favorite conspiracy theories?
My favorite one?
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Oh wait, hold on.
But like it has to be kind of legitimate.
Yeah, easy with the tape.
Okay, one that's. Well, this isn't. Okay, conspiracy theory. Here, let me think. Oh yeah, it was the audio illusion things. It was like, like that Yanny and Laurel thing.
Oh yeah.
But like, not that. But there's another one.
Like, how about the dress?
Alright, guys. I'll help everyone out with this.
That was just lighting tricks.
Yeah, no.
That was
I'm talking about.
That was
audio
optical
visual.
illusion.
That dress was pretty trippy though.
I need everyone to listen to this real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull this up, and I'm gonna tell you something to listen for, and you're gonna hear that word.
Put it up to the microphone.
Oh, brainstorm and.
No. Don't tell both the words yet.
All right. Now you're all gonna hear the one that I said.
Yeah, first one is brainstorm.
Okay.
All right.
First one you listen for is brainstorm.
Okay.
All right.
Did you hear brainstorm?
I heard someone speaking, but it did not sound anything. I heard something totally different.
All right, listen, brainstorm.
Think about it.
You didn't get it?
I know.
DJ, did you hear it?
Yeah.
You heard Brainstorm?
Yeah, did you hear it?
I did not hear
All
Brainstorm.
right, one more time. We're gonna listen for Green Needle.
Okay, I got Green Needle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Green Needle. And now listen for Brain Needle. Brain Needle.
It's still. I mean, the words are really close, but I still feel like it's Green Needle.
Yeah, the thing is, you're suggested
The
to
actual
hear one of
word
them.
that it's saying is brainstorm.
I heard I heard brainstorm every single time.
That's crazy.
I heard brainstorm every single time.
I heard Green Needle. When you said
You just,
right,
have
said
to,
Green
you
Needle.
just have to think about it, and you can actually change what it's
Well,
It
saying.
helps when you see words on the screen.
Okay,
Or
let me try it. Let me try it one
Alright.
time. Let me see the word.
Yeah, I just
I want
closed
to see.
my eyes.
I don't
while
know
you're
if there's
playing
one
it.
with words.
Okay, I'll try to close my eyes. I'll try
or
to do.
Okay,
actually
close your
show
eyes.
them.
Close your
Alright,
eyes.
be quiet.
Brainstorm.
Okay, now I heard Brainstorm.
All right.
All right, now
But
listen.
he said it like it was a brainstorm. Like
Yeah, it's not perfect.
Okay.
All right, now listen for Green Needle.
now I only can hear Brainstorm now.
Just Green Needle, Green Needle, Green Needle.
I
Okay,
heard.
now
I
Green
kind of
that
heard.
time?
I
I
kind
heard
of heard
the
the
green.
green part. but I
So
didn't hear
people
the
at
needle.
home, if you didn't hear that very well,
Look it up on your
go
own.
on YouTube, look up Brainstorm and Green Needle.
I can see why
Try
you
to
can hear
experiment for
both
yourself.
because the way he says it.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
he elongates one part of the word.
So
and
what's to
says
say
one-
that government could do that themselves? You know,
Oh,
things
definitely,
like
they
that.
could.
Oh yeah.
They
Have
can
you heard
hide
of
things.
Have you heard of MK Ultra?
Yeah,
I've
of
heard of it, but I don't know
So it's
anything
big
about it.
in Stranger Things. It's big.
Mhm.
They talk
Yeah.
about the MK Ultra, but the MK Ultra was actually something that happened. So what they were trying to do was they were trying to master the art of hypnosis,
Oh.
Yeah.
and it was actually CIA and military government funded because they felt like at the time it was the most effective way to extract information to control people. So they went through a phase where they were really, really into hypnosis and hypnotherapy and mind control, and they were pushing a lot of money to try to get the efforts in there. So a lot of the things that they would do is something like that, where they condition your brain to hear something, and then you do it after hearing it, and they keep doing it and doing it, and it becomes so repetitive that you get it ingrained into your brain.
Yeah.
So every time you hear the sound, you think of something to do, and then you do it, but you do it subconsciously without even trying.
Yeah, something really similar to that was like they did a thing where like this. Is this an apple?
No.
No. But they do a thing where if someone keeps telling you over and over and over again, this is an apple, eventually you believe it's an apple.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It's that kind of conditioning.
It's conditioning, exactly. Like
It's that mental
they did
trick.
that, those tests.
Yeah, it's.
What do you want to say?
Yeah, one that I've noticed.
Watch this.
So like, that I've heard of in songs is like, there's this little like jingle, like a high pitched sound in like some songs. So one of them is like, I forget what it's like. Me, like the song like why don't you meet me in the middle or something like that. That's like the chorus. There's like so sound like or something like that.
What's up with the
And that sound is what they're using.
Yeah, and then I heard that a song that I noticed I liked, and I listened to this song, and then I heard that sound in it. It's just really weird.
And there is people always messing with like marketing and
Yeah.
subliminal messages. There's a lot
And
of
like you'll think I like that song, and then you like the celebrities,
Yeah.
the clothes you're wearing.
Oh, it
and
makes
the
you
colors.
like
There is-
everything and
there is a
change
thing
how
of,
you like it.
Yeah.
There is a thing of like internet companies and stuff tracking your history.
Oh,
So
yeah,
if you
totally.
like a certain picture on Instagram that has to do with like clothes or something,
You'll get a lot
you
more.
will go on the internet on your computer, your phone again or something, and you will see an ad for a specific type of clothing you like, or music, or just games in general, about anything.
The one that we see almost like all the time is you have your location on. You go to a place, they ask you how'd you rate your visit without you asking them. Like that's the thing that kind of
because your location when you have your
upsets me just
location
a little
on,
bit.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy, man. You have
Like-
no privacy.
and
People
then
can track you easily. People can spy on you easily.
also with certain like phones and stuff, with like the OK Google or Hey Siri, your phone has to be listening all the time
To be
to
able
recognize
pick that up.
when you say OK Google.
That's true, exactly.
And
That's
so-
something to do with like the movie Snowden again too. Like,
Yeah, because like it has to be tracking it, so therefore,
Where's that going?
Yeah, where is all that information going? It's not deleting it.
Yeah, it's true.
Why would it delete it? It has to store it somewhere.
Yeah, like if he's talking like right now normally, but if someone has an iPhone, they just say "Okay Siri." They don't pop up, so it recognizes you saying "Okay Siri." I mean, it has to listen to you every time you say something.
Yeah.
Or it's always listening.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's always listening.
So be careful what you do when you have your phone.
That's the creepiest part, man. That's pretty freaky. I won't lie.
I mean, mine doesn't have like an OK Google in it. It's like I'd say that nothing happens. Yeah. But
Mine does.
I don't doubt that.
I don't even use.
I just disabled
Siri.
mine.
Yeah, I don't even use Siri, to be honest. I'd rather do it.
Okay, Google.
He's like, man, forget you.
Oh yeah, it's a buffer.
Yeah.
He's like, man, forget you.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Any closing thoughts or any closing
The government is trying to control you. Your life is a lie.
That's
be safe on the streets, man. That's all
pretty accurate, to be honest.
Nothing you like is your own free will.
Yeah.
Alright then. Well, that will do it today on our episode of Richmond Real Talk. Thank you so much, Arf, Jesse, Jacob.
It was an honor.
I appreciate it.
Thanks,
This was a really
DJ.
fun episode. I do like doing the other episodes that get kind of deep and stuff, but episodes like this is more fun to do.
Yeah.
And to kind of
Stay
talk
woke.
about. So
Stay woke.
I remember when the whole Illuminati thing was like,
that
Oh
was
my
huge
gosh, it was
enough.
everywhere.
I was getting so annoyed. I was
in high
like,
school, people
dude,
were preaching
shut up, man.
I mean, I can't
That's
believe
real,
some of
though.
it. Yeah, there is some
I believe
stuff.
some of it.
The government
but
itself
some.
is just like that. Everything the people claim the Illuminati's doing, the government does that anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's always complicated. I mean, it's crazy. There is some forces though in the shadows doing some.
No, there's some. It's just not the majority out of what people say. All right, well that will do it for tonight. Go ahead. Why don't you let the kids know where they can find you, Jesse and Jacob.
Well, I mean, I got DMs. I don't really use that much social media. Mainly for the reasons we've been talking about. You know what I mean?
You got the DM.
Don't get too.
No, Jesse's woke now.
Just don't get too paranoid.
No, 14 years old. I don't have no social media accounts. They're not gonna track me. All right then, y'all. That's a wrap. Thank you so much. Have a good night.